thank you for joining today's Paralegal Power Break. In today's session, I'm going to briefly go over calendaring and docketing and electronic calendaring and docketing systems. So first I want to start off by explaining what, if you're new to the paralegal field, I want to first just kind of give a quick overview of the difference. You might hear calendaring and docketing, and you might hear those words used interchangeably. What it really is just a system to keep track of filing deadlines, hearing dates, appointments, a schedule for an attorney, paralegal, and other staff in an office. So calendaring is just like a term that's, a generic term that's used for appointments and deadlines, things of that nature. Docketing is specific to a legal organization. So sometimes you'll hear those terms used interchangeably. So you can just think of docketing as keeping track of hearings, court deadlines, filing deadlines. Now, what's important to keep in mind with docketing and calendaring systems is that whose responsibility it is to update it. That's extremely important because the legal field is driven by deadlines, filing deadlines, court hearings, and is actually an issue that comes up with malpractice suits where attorneys are missing deadlines, hearing dates and filing deadlines, and actually malpractice insurance providers actually require before they actually issue the coverage for law firms, they require that that the law firm describe what docket or control system they have in place. That's just how important it is, because again, the legal industry is driven by deadlines. So it's important to know this. So you have to know who's responsible for keeping track of certain deadlines in an office. Are you required to do so? You also have to know how it's maintained. Is there like a master calendar that everyone has access to? Is it just a docket specialist that has access to it and generates a printout or a login for individuals to get in there? Because some firms may not let everybody get in there, a master calendar, because individuals can get in there and make mistakes and change dates up and get things all mixed up. The point of a calendaring system, a docketing control system, is to be able to avoid scheduling conflicts, and also to be able to make sure that deadlines are met. So if different individuals are getting in that particular system and making changes, let's say for instance a attorney has a legal secretary and a paralegal, and the legal secretary and paralegal both make appointments with clients and schedule the attorney's time. Well, if both of these individuals have access to the attorney's calendar and put this information in, let's say for instance a paralegal gets a call from a client and they're scheduling the client in, and they write it down, like let's say on a sticky note, and they're going to put the information in later because they're right in the middle of something. Well, let's say the legal secretary has scheduled something for the attorney at the same time, but the paralegal has done this. It has also scheduled a time for the attorney, but has not put it in the calendar. Issues like that can come up if more than two people are responsible for it. Let's say, for instance, someone gets in the system and mistakes can be made. Someone can get in there and make a change, make appointments for someone, or change appointments around. So it's important. I know this is going more in depth as far as procedures for calendaring, but it's just important to understand how a calendaring system in your firm, your organization works, who has access to it, Are you responsible for putting information in the calendaring system? How soon are you supposed to update it? Things of that nature. What needs to be put in the calendaring system? So a docket control system is going to have include three elements: the calendar itself, like the calendaring system, keeping track of dates; a tickler system, which is really like a reminder system, to remind individuals when deadlines and dates are approaching; and then also a file review, in order to go in and review files to make sure deadlines aren't being missed, and just to kind of avoid anything slipping through the cracks. So I'm going to quickly go over some common docket control entries. Accounts receivable review due dates, that can be in a master calendar, in a docket control system. Appellate briefs and arguments, billing due dates, property tax return due dates if you work in real estate, will and trust review dates, discovery due dates, corporation filing due dates. These are examples of what you can see in a docket control system. Now also what you will find is statute of limitations. That's extremely important, because outside of court filing deadlines, as far as documents that are due, because something has been initiated. And I know, like in some practice areas, once something is initiated, once something is filed, then so many days after that filing is done, something else is due. So those are things that can be in a calendaring system, appointments, hearing dates, dates that an attorney has to show up in court, deposition dates, but also statute of limitations, deadlines that a legal matter can be filed or certain things can be done. Like if you're working in a criminal law, there's a timeline of when an appeal can be filed. So, there's a statute of limitation that's going to affect the outcome of the ability for an individual to be able to seek recourse. So statute of limitations are extremely important also to have in a master calendar. So these are just things to keep in mind when you are working in a law firm. If you are keeping track of the calendar, if there's no system in place and you calendar things, you use your own system or you're creating one, things to keep in mind that you want to include on your calendaring system, or if you make your own docket control system, or if you're looking for a docket control system, you want to keep these particular things in mind. Does it have statute of limitations? Some systems will do that for you. Some systems will calendar things automatically, like say for instance I mentioned before where when you file in certain practice areas, when you file one particular document, then so many days after that, then something else is due. Certain systems, once you plug that in, that you filed something, it will generate the dates for you. So the great thing about electronic docket control system and calendaring systems is that you don't have to do these things by hand. Calendaring, although the terms are used interchangeably, there are some systems that specifically deal with dates of legal filings. So with that, when you use those particular type of systems that are electronic, you don't have to do that by hand. Once you put in that you filed a particular document, it's going to start generating dates of when and letting you know the next step that need to be made in that particular action, and also further that need to be made with the dates already calculated for you. So the beauty of using an electronic system when you're calendaring those particular dates is that you can avoid errors in that these particular systems calculate that for you. So this is one of the issues that come in and why, you know, deadlines are missed, not just because, you know, attorneys are forgetting or someone's scheduling them wrong. Dates are being calculated incorrectly when, you know, using a manual system. So that's the beauty of using electronic calendaring and docket control systems. It has things built in to be able to automate certain processes to make it more efficient and make your job a lot easier.